What is going on, everybody? What's going on? It's James Hollingsworth back on the Working People's Podcast, where everybody desires to build generational wealth and a financial legacy for their family. And man, we've been missing MIA for a week, and a lot of that has to do, it's her fault. Oh, putting it wrong, it's her fault. No, I'm going to blame it on her. What's up, co-host?
It's all on me.
It's all on me.
Back in the house. We here.
Hey, everybody. Just for Vine's League.
And so, what we need them to do,
like and share.
Please, would y'all do that for us? Like and share, please. Like and share. Press that thumbs up like button. Drop some comments below. We're going to be talking about today for just a few moments about the financial risk of marriage. Now, Deja over there, she ain't got no problems because her husband, he's doing, man, all the ladies looking at him like, I want it, Deja, you don't understand because you got your king. And Deja over there like, yep, I sure do.
Yes, I do.
But one of the reasons why we would kind of mention, I told you, Deja, she is, man, a phenomenal businesswoman, just a phenomenal person, phenomenal woman all the way around, and a woman of God. I mean, solid, man. But we had to do, she was like Aquila in the beef for about a week or so. We had to all help her out with her assignments and help her to learn, get her. We all, the whole neighborhood came together like Aquila in the beef to help her get to that paper she had to write. That was rough, wasn't it? Rough. Oh my God. But I'm so glad you got through it, and man, she got a great grade out of it, and it's one more step closer to the goal. So praise God. And that's all we try to do is hope you, just like we was hoping her the last week. No, just kidding. She didn't really need our hope. She was doing fine on her own. We just encouraged her.
I did.
Told her, you could do it, girl. You got this. You got this.
It was rough.
But I mean, come on, Deja, you gotta admit, you got your business in Michigan, you got your business in Ohio, you got your other job at Cage, you got the new facility that you are stepping in and taking more responsibility of getting that one going, the big 20-bed facility. I mean, come on now, you got your hands full, you got all these boxes of, that you juggling. So, I mean, it's to be expected, And then in the midst of that, you're finishing up a master's in law.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. And ministry.
And ministry. And then all the things that you're doing to help your niece and your family, picking her up, taking her to her games. And then on top of that, you got children at home, a husband at home. And you come home, and she come home. She ain't ordering catering, and she still coming home, and she cooking, and y'all don't understand. See, y'all out here, y'all kind of sisters. Y'all would step the game up. Step the game up, cause I'm over here talking about this girl right here. She gotta know it out. You feel me?
Hey, it's other sisters out here just like me. We gotta give them credit.
I give them credit. But look here, I'm about to just go and put my foot right in the middle of the doggy poop and just say, I get when people start talking about, how hard it is to be a single mother, and we just, the single mothers and the single mothers, all the single mothers and the single mothers, and okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Got myself in trouble already.
Starting it, James.
I did it. It's hard out here. Marry before you carry. Now, I know I just make that blanket statement. That ain't what we're here to talk about tonight, and I can explain it later. Go ahead and drop in the comment section that I'm a male chauvinist pig. That's all right. I can handle it. But let's get into it. Is marriage a financial risk? I think it is. And Deja, remember I mentioned to you last week about the, who sent that to me? Did you send that to me? We done lost her. She'll be back though. trying to think. I think that was Deisha that sent that to me about this woman who was suing this guy in court over a bad date. I think he didn't show up for the date or something, but that happened here in Michigan. Let's get Deisha back on. Let's tell her tell her to sign back in. Tell her she can use that same link. I think you can use the same link. Okay. But I want to say it was either her that sent that to me, or it might have been my sister that sent it to me, with the lady straight up had the guy in court suing him for, I want to say it was emotional, what was it? Emotional distress. That's what it was. So yeah, I think the woman was suing the guy over emotional distress.
Hey, I'm back.
So I was just sharing with everybody about, I think that was you or Gene that sent me that one about the woman that was suing the guy in court over emotional distress.
Yeah, I sent it about the young lady in Genesee County.
Yeah. So I'm like, good Lord, if we can't even get to marriage and you suing the brother over a date that he didn't show up for, emotional distress, good Lord, I wouldn't want to be that woman's future husband.
Apparently it made world news.
It did. $10,000 she's suing him for. Yeah. We probably should have named this video "Is Dating a Financial Risk?"
Right.
Lord. But what's your thoughts about that, though, before we get into the whole marriage risk and with financial?
To be honest, I just think it's absurd.
Wow. I never would have even thought of that. Get that creative.
And I was a little taken back that it didn't get thrown out.
Yeah, the judge was
it was actually moved up to the higher court.
To the higher court. Wow. Good Lord. So he was in judicial. Which court was he in?
He was in. They moved it up to circuit court.
They moved it up to circuit court.
Yeah. So he. I don't know if it was through. I don't think it was
district court. It was in district court. Yeah. She had filed in district court, and Judge was it Heyman. Yeah, Judge Heyman was like, you filed it in the wrong court, and so then she took that when she heard him say circuit court. In her mind, she transcribed what he said and started saying, "So you mean that I could sue him take criminal action against him?" I'm like, holy cow! Now she wants to take criminal action against the brother.
And I believe it had something to do with he stood her up.
Yeah, he didn't make the date or something. He stood her up. I guess he just didn't show up, whatever the case may be. And she said something about her mother had died or something. Well, why are you going out on a date and your mother died? I mean,
it was a lot of bullet holes in that story.
Good Lord. But geez, maybe going on a date is a financial risk. You can get sued. When we get Gene on, I told Gene I wanted to talk about Dennis Sperling when he was talking about the threat that some women are asking questions and trying to determine if they can sue a man, like their neighbor or somebody else, if they babysitted their kids. You know, if they're taking, like, been a mentor to them or taking on any type of, fatherly role in their life, if they can sue them for child support, even though they're not the biological children's father. Mm-hmm. It's getting hard out here for a regular guy. Thought I was going to say penalty.
I did.
Okay, let me share my screen. Because I want to go through this real quick, and then we can get up all out of here. We might not even get nobody watching after we've been gone for a whole week or something like that.
We've been on a hiatus, huh?
Oh, the straight hiatus, you know what I'm saying? But I want to know if anybody, is in the comment section or you come through, is marriage a financial risk? I say, yeah. You might have a whole different analysis of that because you are very successfully married. You and your husband been together, married. Y'all doing great.
Yeah, but wasn't the case with that first husband.
Oh Lord, gee, oh Lord, don't say his name. Somebody coming through might know him.
You know, but we were young.
Oh,
we were high school sweethearts. So a lot of things that we know now, we didn't know then.
Oh my God. Oh Lord.
I cleaned that up, didn't I?
Yeah, you sure did. You cleaned that up real good. You cleaned that up real good. So this article was written by this guy named John Williams, who's the head of wealth planning at the NetBank Private Wealth. And he talks about some financial risk when it comes to marriage. And he says one of the problems is people just don't, you see that, they don't talk about money up front. Mm-hmm. They don't have the hard conversation and talk about money. So he says many people still don't like to talk about money among friends or family or even with their spouse or partner. However, given communication breakdown is cited as the main reason for divorce, perhaps it's time to buck the trend and sit down and go through the financials in detail. It is a useful habit to get into early on in a relationship, even if it's initially about day-to-day money management. And these will lead into more fundamental discussions and help prepare you for more onerous, I haven't heard that word, conversations about your longer-term finances later on in life and in your relationship. But it should always include how much each other is earning and what savings, investments, and pension contributions are being made. Can we have that level of conversation, not only before we say I do, but before we even ask to say, will you? Before you drop to one knee, maybe we should be having some conversations. But you know what it is,
that's
people.
Good,
yeah.
Takeaway.
You know what happens though, Deja? About the third date, they be over there with their socks off, and all these conversations like, look, we in love.
But not realizing that you're taking on that financial debt of that other party.
I wonder how many people had that conversation about, hey, what debts do you have? I mean, we're going to be merging our lives together, which by default includes our finances.
Yeah. I was fortunate to meet a young lady a couple weeks ago, and her and I had a conversation. And she's newly divorced, I think probably within the last year or so. But she said when they got married, she was unaware that the house that they moved into, which was his house, was in foreclosure.
Good Lord. Talk about not having a conversation.
Didn't have a conversation. He was by all accounts, hiding a lot of things from her. And she said it was a lot of secretive things going on. Not realizing that.
Aisle. Come on. Why would you
realizing that this house
Jesus
was already destined to be taken, because by then it wasn't really a whole lot she could do to help.
Right. Because once you sign that paper, at that point you're at the mercy of the court. You can go back, early on, but I don't know if the law has changed. Deja, you could tell me if you have any information about that in terms of an annulment. It used to be that you could only seek or get an annulment if the marriage had not been consummated. And I thought that was still the case.
It is.
So, good luck with that then, right?
Yeah.
So now you have to go through the process of getting a termination of the marriage through divorce, a dissolution. How do you not have those conversations?
I think it's because you take it for granted that you truly know, the person, and you want to believe that they're transparent and honest. But when it comes to their finances, it's like, what do you do, James? Okay, before we say our I do, do we have each other present our credit report? What do you do?
You know, Deja, it's going to be hard. It's kind of difficult for me to say, but I'm just going to say it. I think one of the problems is people be like, I don't want to mess this up. So I really think it's a thing where they don't even talk about certain things. Because they're like, man, if I don't, this, maybe they bring it up once, twice, or whatever the case may be, and it causes contention, or it's one of those things where the person is avoiding, and not really giving straightforward answers, not giving you the details. And you're getting these red flags, but at the same time, like what you were sharing, and then you either will continue to persist to have the conversations to get the information, or like most people, a lot of people just back off and just say, well, I'm not going to bring it up again, or whatever.
Yep. But even with that, just because you don't bring it up doesn't mean it goes away.
It don't. It obviously didn't in that case you just shared. And yeah.
And then another thing that kind of is concerning, you get people who spend all this money on a wedding for one day.
Mm-hmm.
But here your house is in foreclosure.
Oh my goodness.
And not only is it in foreclosure, you done moved your new bride into this house. You at risk of.
Wow. When this here says about a ring fence assets, I had to read through that a little bit because I didn't know what he was talking about. He says, if you are starting a relationship and expect to receive significant sums from your family or bring substantial wealth of your own, it is worth seeking legal advice, and you and I have talked about this, on establishing a prenup or prenuptial agreement. These are generally now taken into account by courts and may even help provide a reason to talk more openly and have a more healthy relationship with money and other important factors. Now, this other part here, Deja, I thought was very, very good. A very good insight from John. Said courts can take into account assets that were earned or received. They can take into account assets that were earned or received before the marriage took place, if it is deemed necessary that a financial settlement requires their inclusion to support both parties' circumstances, plus any children and their needs. Here's the caveat. Or if the marital and non-marital assets have become mingled to such an extent that they are no longer distinct. Ooh. But here's the problem with prenuptial agreements. No, I don't want to say problem, but as it relates to that, the mingling or the commingling or the assets becoming mingled together, is a prenuptial agreement requires that all assets are revealed and accounted for up front. So if you're going to be wise and smart from my perspective, I wouldn't want to go into it and start trying to necessarily say, well, we're going to exclude these assets or this assets. I mean, that can be negotiated, but I think that would be challenging to do. And that's been one of my apprehensions about the whole thing of going into that level of commitment, because you're talking about, like Eddie Murphy said back in the day in his stand-up comedy routine, raw, half. I mean, you're talking about half of your 401k, you're talking about your pension.
Right. And I have another, I come in contact with a lot of folks, don't I, James?
You sure do.
So one of my coworkers, he's an older guy, and he's going through a divorce. And he said what they're finding is that his soon-to-be ex-wife is hiding assets.
Uh-oh. Has that been problematic?
It is.
Uh-oh.
Because it seems like every time they go in front of the magistrate or whoever's doing the proceedings, it seems like each week more assets are being found.
And they ain't been married. You told me they had been married for what, 35, 40 years, something like that?
Yeah, about 30 some years.
And
and I had asked him, I said, well, you guys just can't remain companions? You live at one end of the house. She live at another end of the house. Is it that bad? And what he told me was, we got the kids to college. It's, the relationship it's been over.
Well, that's kind of scary. That is kind of scary. Let me see if I can make sure I connect my because my headphones are not connected. 1, 2. Okay, let's try that. So, whew, man, that's scary. That's straight up scary. Woo, Jesus. Well, it says, however, rather than looking at ring fencing as a declaration that your marriage is being set up to fail, or doing this prenuptial agreement, not least as it may be your soon-to-be spouse's family that is insisting these measures be put in place. You have that happen a lot when you get one person, especially if it's the female, that's designated to potentially inherit some funds or some assets from the family. See it as a contract. And I you know how I think about it, Deej. I think if you go into marriage and you're not thinking with a business mind and looking at things in a contractual type situation, I think you're a fool. But maybe that's too strong of a language. How about clown? Can we use clown? How about doofus?
We could even use clown plus a purse fight.
Hey, cause rent's due on the 1st, so somebody got to pay it. Say this may help you to avoid acrimonious and expensive court case in the future. And I agree with that. Meanwhile, for prenups to be effective and legal in other countries in which they may apply, there has to be complete. Here I go. See, I didn't even know this was in there because I didn't read this at first. There has to be complete disclosure of assets that might previously have been kept hidden. Now, if they didn't, the guy that you know didn't have a prenuptial arrangement, it still doesn't preclude, I think that's the right word, those assets from being considered. Because once they find them and they bring them into court, it ain't like the judge going to say, oh, well, he didn't know about that until now, so we just not going to count that. That ain't how it works in court.
Absolutely.
That just ain't how it works. So, whew, Jesus. Oh, Lord. Here's another thing. Now, I'm going to say this up front. Let me take this off screen. So I want everybody to see my face real good on this one. Here's what I think one of the biggest issues is. There is an assumption that the woman, and you tell me honestly what you think, Deja, that the woman is more at risk in marriage, especially, you keep hearing these people when I'm in these chat rooms watching Kendra G or watching the other group that I'm a singles Christian group I'm a part of, and you constantly hearing this thing about, well, I got my own, this, that, and the other. And the only reason why he wants you to not work and be a stay-at-home mother and be a stay-at-home wife, blah, blah, because he just want to control you. Look, there is way more protection for the woman in the marriage and relationship than it is the man. However, that playing field gets equal, and women know this. Y'all they be acting like they don't know it. They know that playing field gets leveled real quick, even in court, if they happen to be the breadwinner in the relationship. Because I know situations personally where the woman had to give up part of her pension and 401k because she was the primary breadwinner in the relationship. But people don't want to have that conversation, right? Because we know typically that's not the case. But it's way easier, especially if there's children involved, for, people talking about when a woman comes out. Look, y'all need to do y'all homework. Do you know that men typically suffer the most in divorces? Because men are typically not the ones leaving. 70-80% of divorces are initiated by the women.
Yeah.
And it's the men that suffer psychologically, emotionally, and oftentimes financially in the dissolution of the marriage, because typically, even though, like I say, the playing field gets equaled, it is still, in most cases, predominantly where the men have to make the most sacrificial. They are the ones putting out financially.
Yes.
Look at this. Y'all see?
And you know what, James?
Yeah.
Just from talking to my coworker, it was even kind of surprising that his soon-to-be ex-wife is going to have to pay spousal support.
She was hiding some major. She was hiding some major cash. Yeah. And people don't realize in certain situations, it's, you can have a good attorney, and I suggest that you always do that with an attorney. But the judge will often, you don't necessarily have to say this is, the judge is like, they you know what I'm saying, they sitting there and they handling this. The judge is like, we need to give them parenting time and this, that, and the other. And the judge is looking at everything. I had some accusations laid against me going through my divorce, transparent moment, right? And the judge saw through all of it. The judge, when he issued his ruling, stuff that I didn't see and missed, the judge issued his ruling. Come on, he does this for a living. He's overseeing thousands of divorces. And he came back and said, how is it possible that this man could be these things when just less than 30 days ago, this person voluntarily entered into a consent judgment of divorce, giving him summer parenting time, alternating Christmases, all of this, but yet he is supposed to be this really terrible person.
Right.
The judge saw through all of that, right? So the judge is not sitting up there stupid and ignorant like he's never seen these scenarios before. So when we start trying to hide assets and things like that, whether it's a prenuptial agreement involved or not, more often than not, the judge is still going to make a fair and appropriate ruling, in favor of the person who is not as financially set as the other person may be.
Right.
That's saying it nicely.
Yeah, you did.
Oh my God. How do we, Deja, help me out. How do we protect ourselves? And because I'm telling you right now, I done said this for love. Show me the contract.
Yeah.
You want me to do what? You want me to commit to what? For how long? For the rest of my life? Oh, we got some stuff to talk about. In fact, even before I go to the shopping for the ring or anything, you're going to feel like you're probably in an interview.
And some people think that you have to be at a certain financial level,
right,
or
the prenuptial,
on your way to a certain financial level to have a prenup. But that's not the case.
Nah.
I told you about my instructor. He and his wife are both attorneys. And prior to them even becoming attorneys, that was one of the things that they agreed on. Because they knew that prenup gave them the ability to write out what each party would get.
Yes.
And what happens is if you don't have that, you put in position the laws to dictate and determine.
Why would we want to do that? Why would we want to just leave all of that up to somebody else to decide and go through a potential, especially if children are involved, a whole year of stress trying to, get this. Don't ever want to do that again. there's a statistic in here. I'm not going to pull it back on screen, but it says 80% of men die before the women. 80%. So there's another statistic. I'm not going to pull it up as well as because I've done a pretty extensive, research and study on a lot of stuff as it relates to the content that we put on the podcast. And I'm gonna say this because I already know that some of the sisters, when they initially hear it, they're gonna probably come at me like, "What are you trying to say? That women can't become millionaires? Women out here making it happen. We doing good. We do." Statistics show that the majority of millionaires are men. If you follow certain statistics, there's one that will say 13.5% of millionaires that are women, right? Or you can see some other statistics that will show as high as 33%. However, when you counterbalance or when you digress through these statistics and start looking at other statistics that complement those, you also would begin to see that about half, if you go with the highest number of the 33% of women that are millionaires, you'll find other statistics that bear out that over half of them got their wealth through marriage, through either being married or was married and widowed or married and divorced, right? So when you take out that, it was roughly 17.5%, 18% of that 33, and I'm doing general math, you still get back down to close to that 13.5% of, you could say, these were the women that they were go-getters. They got it out the mud, y'all. They represent it, right? So it still gets close to that 13.5%. So I know it may be a hard pill or a hard thing to swallow and digest and to accept, especially when we have these, anecdotal in my own, I know somebody, kind of thing. But the majority of the people that are millionaires are married. And even the majority of women that are millionaires got their wealth through marriage. Okay. Right? That's just an undeniable fact. The percentages, however, began to be difficult to decipher and really come up with the exact percentage amount, because there are several different statistics that don't include all the data, but when you compile them all together, they do tell the story similar to what I've expressed it right now. Okay. Right? That the majority of them, even if you go with the higher number that I've seen, 33%, even with that, the majority of them still got their wealth through the relationship, through marriage or being a widow or divorced. Now, I said all that to say that it becomes very, very difficult to it becomes very, very challenging and difficult in our current environment for men to make that step, because it is a financial risk involved. Okay. However, the more money guys tend to have, they are always mindful that they must protect themselves. Now, they're always willing to share it and give it up, ladies. So it's not like so that whole notion when women start talking about the man just try to control you, no. He's more, if he's willing to take you on as his wife, he's more than willing to share his resources with you. That's not the problem, right? That is not the problem, especially if he's really about his business. He got enough to share. Yes. He got enough to share. So that's not the problem. The problem is will you walk into the relationship in good faith?
Explain it, James.
I'll break it down. Because the assumption is that these men just want to control you. Lie. Also, the assumption is that the women are gold diggers. Lie. Also, the assumption is all he wants is arm candy. Pretty arm candy. Lie. The assumption is this dude just dumb. He don't even know it. All she wanted for is his money. Lie. Men of means and resources, if they can broker $1 million deals and real estate deals and all this stuff that get them to be a level of success, trust me, they see this stuff coming from a mile away. They're not being suckered and deceived like you think so. So all of that is lies. That's envious and jealous and, ooh, geez, you don't like the word, broke people with a poverty mindset that want what they have, but don't have the character. Oh God, I'm about to really get myself in trouble, but I'm gonna say it anyway. And the demeanor to get it. So, like we said in another show that we did, people that tend to be critical of other people's success is because they're not willing to put in the work necessary to get it on their own.
That's right.
So they criticize other people's level of success or what the outcomes that they're getting. So if you haven't put the work in and you know all your life that ain't been your circle that you've run in, you know, I was talking to my sister the other day. And she was telling me that she had a very, not the sister that be on this show, a different one. Y'all ain't seen or met her before. That she was having a problem. Men, when they get money, all they do is want to date a white woman.
How did that conversation go?
Look, good faith. All I'm saying, good faith, because men of means can see it coming from a mile away. And if you're not coming in good faith, I don't care how pretty you are, you're not going to make the cut. So this whole ideal about they just want, you know, some orange candy. No. They want somebody that's stupid. No. Reginald Lewis. Y'all need to look the brother up. Reginald Lewis. His wife was an attorney. So when she gave up her career to be the stay-at-home mother to their children, she wasn't stupid. Many of these women are very educated, and they are from families that have standards. And they themselves have standards. So this whole notion that women are just selling themselves to the highest bidder, like some high price, I ain't gonna get banned, woman of certain
woman of the night.
Yeah. Stop it. It's just not true. All I'm saying in a nutshell is, one of the problems is, are you entering into a relationship in good faith? Because we know the risk involved in marriage. So if you get a man of means to walk down the aisle, trust me, he's analyzed. Trust me, I'm trying to help you. Okay, you've been dealing with a certain level of brothers, and he just intimidated by my success. A man of means ain't intimidated by nothing like that. No, I'm trying to tell you, not intimidated by it at all. But if you come in good faith, you know, being genuine to who you are as a person and what you truly bring to the table, that's not, you know, all of this other stuff that we keep, you know, related to the Pookie and the Ray Rays and the June Bugs, you know, those kind of guys, you know, yeah, they might be intimidated by your success, you know, but look, men of means, they're not trying to dumb you down. Right. We're not trying to dumb women down and make them like they just, you know, Barbie dolls and they stupid airheads. No. Me personally, I love being around intelligent women. Hello? Y'all seen the women that's been on this show? Y'all saw Sharita Green? Mm-hmm. She's married. Very intelligent woman. Yeah. But good faith. Good faith. The whole notion that these men are just gullible and you could just, you know, be a gold digger and just go and get one. No, it's not going to happen. You're going to probably feel like you're in an interview. And it ain't going to be feeling, probably sometimes ain't going to be feeling romantic.
Back in the
especially when you're talking to attorneys about splitting assets.
What sack chasing?
Yeah.
Back in the day, that was in the 80s.
Right. How sexy is that to be sitting in the attorney's office looking at documents and papers about assets and who owns what? That don't sound romantic, do it?
Nope.
But statistics show that the higher people go up on the socioeconomic, ladder, the less likely they are to get divorced. I don't even know if I really answered that question about you asking me about good faith.
No, I mean, hey.
But
you summed it up.
I be trying not to get myself in trouble. I really be trying, Deisha.
It's funny you brought up that
date that went to the left. I don't have to really get into that
left.
Interesting. I would love to follow that story.
Yeah. I hope that but that just happened to be, I don't know how that was made public. It was through the Zoom call, and I guess court proceedings are public, so.
Yeah. Public information.
Oh, I don't know if I got anything else to read through this article. There's some other good stuff in there. If you are interested in reading that article, it's called, it's through the findawealthmanager.com, and the name of the article is Marriage the Biggest Financial Risk You'll Take? It's a good article to read on Google. Written by, or taken from information by John Williams, who's the head of wealth planning at NetBank Private Wealth. Good stuff. Deja, I think I'm going to go ahead. If you don't have anything else to say, we could probably just wrap this up. And you all just think about it, man. I mean, are you willing to step in and take that risk, brothers? I mean, because the ideal that people think that men don't want to get married, I don't think that's the case. But it seems to be to me, this is me and my little anecdotal, I'll take that on and say it. It seems to be to me that a lot of women ain't coming in good faith. And if that's all that you're trying to get me for, and you're going to stay with me for 1 or 2 years and throw a baby in the mix and think you're going to be walking out the door, it ain't going to happen, because I'm telling you right now, we're going to read that stuff right up front.
I know that's right.
See that coming from 10 miles away. Mm-hmm. Now, y'all don't like him. Y'all hated the man. Glad he dead. But Kevin Samuels would ask 2 polarizing questions. Number 1, when you get pregnant, do you want to have to pay any substantial, significant bills once you're pregnant with your first child, with your children? And the majority of the sisters called in was like, nope. So depending on what state you live in, you better start doing the math and calculating what kind of brother you talking about. If he making that kind of money with you and your 2 children, especially if you start having them back to back pretty much, y'all going to be staying at home for the formative years of your children. Wow. Didn't like the question, but most of the women, educated, went to college, independent, strong, independent black women, don't need no man. I got my own. I bring a PhD and a master's. I bring, I got a standard of living, a salary. I make a lot of money on my job. You bringing all that to the table. You got $179,020 in financial aid, student loan debt. You're bringing that to the table too, right? But
so you willing about that?
You won't talk about that. But guess what? They willing to give all that up if they met Mr. Millionaire plus Decamillionaire or multimillionaire.
Yeah.
Oh, and the second polarizing question is, what overall financial load do you want to be responsible for the duration or the lifetime of the marriage? And you consistently hear the college educated $179,200.15 student loan debt women say, about 20%. So that degree and all that education, come on, let's keep it real. And then don't talk about the sisters coming to the table and they bring it to the table, student loan debt and a child that ain't his. Mm-hmm. And you want him to put that child that ain't his through private school, raise them, feed them, do all that, be the stepdaddy. Now, I'm not saying brothers ain't doing that, but y'all acting like everybody out here is Russell Wilson. No. Russell Wilson is a very unique case.
Right.
Very unique case. So the whole idea of people still want a traditional relationship, even though they out here talking about they want strong, independent, and they don't need a man, but they still want a traditional relationship of a provider male. I mean, come on, somebody help me out. If I'm missing something, help me out.
I said it here. I'm talking about I'm bringing 50%. 50%.
But then, how many times, DJ, you need to start reading the comment sections. You don't read the comments. You need to start reading. The minute the brothers say, well, I just want a woman, we want a 50-50 relationship. Them 50-50 brothers are strong in New York, right? They in New York strong, 50-50 brothers. Because New York ain't cheap. It's expensive. And the minute the brother be like 50-50 relationship, you know what the comment section start going on? He just broke. He just a broke man. Oh! But you keep talking about you got your own. Mm-hmm. So the minute he say, let's do 50-50 so we can build together, you don't want to do that because I keep telling y'all don't like when I say it. Sisters don't want to build a boo. They don't want that struggle love. They want to stand at the finish line, wait till the brother run the marathon,
and hand him a cup of water.
And hand him
the towel and pat him. I got you, baby.
I got you, baby. Oh, Jesus. I got you, baby. I'm with you to the end. Oh, by the way, what's the balance in our checking account? Our checking account.
And our checking account. Account dry up, they be gone.
Oh my God. Oh Jesus. Okay, I'm gonna stop. What you got to say, Deja?
Nothing at all. I miss you guys.
Me too. Miss y'all. We got to come back. We said we was going to come back and talk about that more, about the whole thing, about the risk of the potential legal, ramifications throughout the dating process.
Yes.
And if you marry into a situation where you are not the actual father of the biological children that you are entering into this marriage of, there is some attorneys out there that are beginning to get real, I don't want to say it, on notice of legal filings that are just beginning to, and precedents that's beginning to get set in different court proceedings that's really putting some of them on alert that there are going to be many cases coming forth of women filing child support cases against men that are not the biological father of the children.
Wow.
But
that's going to be interesting.
Here's the caveat, Deja. He played a fatherly role. And because of that, he built a bond with these children, and the court system can hold him financially liable.
Yeah. Interesting. Because my question would be, would that baby daddy
Tell me about it.
And is he paying child support?
Tell me about it.
So now she gonna get child support from both of them? Or they gonna split it 50-50? Come on now.
I tell you what, maybe people think this is an episode of Life. I done pappy. Not me. I ain't stepping up. Can't get right. He could do this on his own.
Because what's going to happen is it's going to keep
it to be the situation where there's going to be a lot more single women out here.
Yep.
And kids that are going to be fatherless.
Yep. And that's
because
and
if
that's
they're going to put that type of pressure on them.
Yep.
They might climb through the window and take their socks off.
Thank you.
But come that morning, they gone.
Gone. And not spending no time with them children. Don't want to see them children.
Nope.
You talking about you and your children are a package. Yeah, you're a package, all right. One of them FedEx packages that when they get delivered and show up at your doorstep, your shoes missing. FedEx, I don't know, a whole lot of sneakers been coming up missing.
We don't ship through FedEx at my company.
Why?
I work for. We use UPS, and it'd be a whole lot of stuff come up missing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We had to file a claim.
Stuff just be missing. Box package arrives. I'm like, how's this package open already? Well, it came like that.
They don't even open it. The whole package just disappeared.
Just ain't even nowhere in the state,
nowhere to be found.
The country. Ain't even on a list. Can't even find that joker. Well, we showed the last place we showed it was in Saskatchewan, Idaho. Like, what? How did my package get to Idaho and I was shipping it from Ohio to Michigan?
Right.
So there's risk out there.
Always pay to get that extra insurance.
Just pay the insurance. And that's what a prenuptial agreement could potentially be. But you're still going to have to give up something, brothers. And think about it. If it's getting risky, what kind of president is this? You think it's going to stop now that this one woman, and that's gone viral all across the country? You think you ain't going to see some other single women up in court talking about, he didn't show up on the date, or we went on a date, he asked me out on a date, and then he only paid for fried chicken. He wouldn't pay for the scrimps. And so I'm emotionally distressed because when I was growing up as a child, all my mama used to feed us was fried chicken, and my stomach, it don't like fried chicken. So I'm emotionally distressed. So I'm going to sue him for a bad date. I tell you what, I'm going to start, if I do go on a date, it's going to be on Zoom. How you doing? Hey, how you doing? You want to hold hands? Let's hold hands. They're going to be on Zoom, a Zoom date.
Now that's bad.
Anywho, I hope you guys have gotten something out of this, and this has been thought-provoking. Sisters, come in good faith. Because the minute you start doing crazy stuff like wanting to sue a man for child support for children that ain't his, and getting upset when a man just want to know, why didn't you require the other two baby daddies to marry you? These are questions that are just in good faith. Another good faith question. But get upset. What do you bring to the table other than your body parts? Especially for a man that's trying to build and go somewhere and do something. Just talking about coming in good faith. Right. Are you thinking sitting there getting upset over a date that went bad? But you got in your phone, guys, under car note. Scroll through my phone. Rent. Keep scrolling through my phone. Ooh. 4 guys. Dinner 1, dinner 2, dinner Friday, dinner Saturday. Come on. We're not stupid. We know I ain't the only guy you dating. And I know if you're not a VIRGIN, I know even if you go into church and singing on the praise team that you probably have your socks off with somebody.
Uh-oh.
Praise and worship leader. Just come in good faith is all I'm saying. Good faith. This whole notion about men are just evil. They dogs, all of them. They cheat. They out to deceive you and trick you. Stop swimming in the pissy pool. So that you won't keep having this unhealthy image of men. Because all men are not like that.
No.
How do I know? Because Deja got one. Sharita got one. That's all I'm saying. That's why we want to present positive images of marriage and relationships. I know I can't do it because I'm over here like, marriage? I'm like, Billy, I'm like the road runner, Billy. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, like and share, press the thumbs up like button. Throw some hearts over here on Facebook, the Working People's Podcast. You know what to do. Drop some comments below. I ain't even looked in the comment section if anybody even commented. Drop us some comments and share this video. And start asking yourself, man, is this a risk that you're willing to take to enter into this whole thing of marriage, man? And let's try to start having some good faith, and let's start looking at things in a more logical. I know that you're in love and the butterflies are flying, but I'm telling them butterflies fly right on over there and just burn in the fire when things start going left. And have these conversations up front. Talk about your financials and talk about how y'all gonna share your stuff and what your credit's looking like, and start talking about is this person a saver or a spender. Start coming and having these conversations. I know you in love, but y'all better start talking so we can get these divorce rates down and get these marriage rates back up again. But thank you all for watching. Did you got anything else to say?
No.
Well, I got to go.
We got to go.
We gotta go. Hey, we out.